Hello, 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 hello. Welcome to my channel. I am Nakia, and today we're going to talk about 21 books that I'm excited to read this year. So come on back and let's talk about it. So we are here to talk about books that I'm excited to read this year. And I know these kind of videos usually go up in January, but that's neither here nor there. We are doing this now, okay? So we're gonna get into it. But first, I wanted to say, please subscribe if you're not subscribed. I am almost at the 3,000 subscriber mark, and I'm so excited. I did start my channel when I already had like 2,000 subscribers from previous videos that I used to do. But so when I get to 3,000, that will show me that I've had some real growth as a booktuber. And like I said, it's so exciting. I will have something special for you guys. I just haven't decided yet, but get me to 3,000. You shall see. So yes, hit that subscribe button, like the video if you enjoy my content. And yes, let's get into it. As I said, I have picked 21 books. I have like 24 on my list, but I narrowed it down to 21 because it sounds good, you know, 21 in 2021. Anyway, but these are the books that I wrote down in my journal that I'm most looking forward to reading this year. Most of them were already on my TBR list from last year when I first got on BookTube and got in the book community. And some of them are some new releases. There are some that I was looking forward to reading, but I've already started to read them this month, or I am going to read them this month, so I didn't include them in this list. This does not include all the books I'm looking forward to. I have a long list that I haven't even combed through to see if I want to read stuff or not. I have things that just pop up and I'll be like, oh, I need to add that. But these are the ones, as I said, that I put in my journal, my book journal, that were on my list from last year. And I have been just like, I got to get to these books this year. So I'm going to split it up into horror books, thriller books, and I have a couple sci-fi. I will put timestamps below so you can skip to the section that you want to see, or, you know, watch them all. That would be great. And lastly, before I get into it, I am not going to give detailed synopses because we would be here all day. And some of these books I talked about in my 2021 anticipated releases videos. I had a horror and thriller one. So if you want like a detailed synopsis, you could check those out. But like I said, I don't want us to be here all day. So I'm just going to do like a little quick rundown of like what it's about or what intrigues me and why I want to read it. So let's get started, shall we? All right. So because the first one on my list is a horror book, we just going to start with the horror. The one that I'm most looking forward to, I will probably read in May, is I'm Thinking of Ending Things by Reid. This book has been on my list, like I said, since last year. And then when I did a collab video with Jordan, Cameron Chien mentioned this book for one of his favorite horror books. And I was like, okay, if I don't get to this book soon, I had it and I had to take it back. Long story. Anyway, I plan to get to it, like I said, in May. What I know of this book is it's a couple, they're going to visit a secluded farm and some things start happening, some strange things. I don't know what the title involves. I'm thinking of ending things. I don't know if it means their life, their relationship, what, but I've just heard so many good things about it. I have not checked out the movie either. Don't know if I will. We'll see after I read the book, but that is definitely number one because I believe it's a psychological horror and I've talked about that. That is what I love. So we're going to get to that. Next up, we have Local Haunts, which is an anthology collection of short horror stories by fellow horror booktubers. So I've been known about this book. I actually bought it. It's already on my Kindle, but I got to get to it soon because I really want to support my fellow horror booktubers and see what their writing style is like. Some of them I'm familiar with. Okay, one, you already know, but I'm anxious to check out the rest. And yeah, like I said, see what these people that I watch and follow, what their writing is like. So yes, that will be coming soon. Next up, we have My Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark Treasury book. I talked about this in my little mini book haul because yeah, as you see, bought it, own it. Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark was one of my favorites as a child. So I didn't even know, I think I knew there was a second book. I didn't know there was a third one. And I found out that they are all bound up in this little collection. So I will be getting to this very soon because I want to revisit to see what I like versus what I liked when I was a child, and just also read the other ones that I have not read. And if you don't know, this is a short story collection of horror stories. It has like great illustrations, such as this one on the front. And yeah, some of them are funny, some of them are spooky. There's like poems and songs and all that stuff. So like I said, I just loved this when I was a kid, and I cannot wait to reread it and then read the other two. Let's move on. Then I have two that are based around Christmas time, but I want to try to read some books that are for Halloween and Christmas early. So when those times come, I have some recommendations for you guys. I don't want to wait till then. I'm going to read some more, but I want to be ahead of the game. So I have two that are Christmas themed scary stories. So the first one is The Visitor by Sergio Gomez. Again, I don't know a ton. I just know it involves Christmas and an alien. That was all I needed to know. It's also a novella. It's only 72 pages, so I can get through it real quick. You know, I'm always here for the novellas, short books, I'm here for. And then a book that I heard a lot about last year, but I didn't get to it in time for the Christmas season. So again, this year I will read it early so I can tell you about it at Christmas time. But that would be Secret Santa by Andrew Shaffer. This one is like an 80s feel. It's about this woman that goes to an office party and Secret Santa gifts. And of course, it's a horror book, so things go wrong. I'm assuming there's some murder and mayhem, and I'm here for it. So that's also top of the list, because like I said, I was so upset I didn't get to it last year in time for Christmas winter season. Next up, we have another book that has been circulating around BookTube. Okay, I had to take a pause. We had a helicopter circling outside, so if I'm in a different position or anything, that is why. If not, don't worry about it. As I was saying, the next book I have on my list is one that plenty of people have been talking about here on BookTube, in the horror BookTube community, and that is Hide and Seeker by Daka Hermon. Hope I'm saying the name right. I'm so sorry if I'm not. But this is a middle grade horror book, but I have heard it is a little bit creepy, a little bit spooky. It's basically about these kids where one of the friends goes missing for like a year, and when he comes back, he is not acting the same. Something's not right. And the kids go to play hide and seek, and some things happen because that child ain't right. So I'm looking forward to it. Moving on. Next up, we have The House by the Cemetery by John Everson. I saw this book on Are You Into Horror, Richard's channel, and I think it was in his list of favorite horror books from 2020. And when I looked it up, I was like, ooh, I think he said it was scary even, I think, don't quote me. But I looked it up and I was just like, okay, we got to read this. And I want to read it soon because I've wanted to read it since he made that video, and I was like back in December or something. But basically, it's about a house that's supposed to be haunted, of course. There's supposed to be the ghost of a witch, and there's this man who moves into the house to try to rehabilitate it for a haunted house attraction, and you know things don't go right in those type of situations. So that's all I want to know. I want to go in blind. I'm ready, though. I hope I can get at least disturbed. That's enough for me. Moving on. Next up, we have Night Film by Marisha Pessl. Once again, I hope I'm saying her name right. If I mispronounce anyone's name, I'm so sorry. I wish they had the pronunciation on Goodreads and whatnot. But anyway, this is another book that has been around. It came out in 2014, so I know it's an old book, but it is new to me because, like I said, I just got back into reading end of 2020. But I think what I know of it is that it's a psychological horror. Also, there is this 24-year-old woman who is found dead, and it's ruled a suicide. But there's this investigative journalist who does not believe that's what it is. So he starts digging and trying to find out what happened to her. And she just happens to be the daughter of a cult leader. So nothing good can come of that. But yeah, like I said, I have heard so many good things about this book. So I am looking forward to it soon. Like all the rest of these. Next, we have Nightmare by Chad Nicholas. I will actually be getting to this in May for a group read. I will talk about that in my May TBR video, so stay tuned for that. But this quickly rose to the top of my TBR list because I kept hearing so many good things about it. Stark Between Pages did a review, and she spoke so highly of it, and we chit-chatted in the comments a little bit, and she convinced me I have to read this book. So, as I said, I will be getting to it next month. I don't know a lot about this one either. Don't want to know a lot. All I know is that there's this man and some strange things are happening. Maybe a scarecrow comes to life. He's not sure. I'm not sure. Like I said, that's all I know. I don't really know a lot. We just gonna find out. So stay tuned for like the detailed synopsis in May. But that is, like I said, top of the TBR now. It just came out in 2020. Already has a lot of hype, so I had to move it up. Last but not least, we have the infamous The Lost Village by Camilla Sten. I put this on my most anticipated releases of 2021 video, and I have heard so many mixed reviews, but mostly bad. I actually downloaded a sample on my Kindle and I started reading, and I was like, I'm into it. So I'm still gonna read it. This was like one of the ones I was looking forward to the most because the synopsis says it's Midsummer meets the Blair Witch Project, and I liked both. So that's all I needed to know. I know it's a documentary film crew go to investigate some things. So again, I don't need to say too much. The detailed synopsis is in my previous video, but I plan to get to it soon, and I will see where I fall. I love to check out books that are polarizing. Those probably intrigue me the most when there's people who don't like it and people who do, because then I'm like, well, I want to know where I fall. So stay tuned for that. Oops, my bad. This book that I thought was sci-fi, I don't know why I had it on my sci-fi list. It's horror, so we're going to add one more to the horror list. It's called Black Heart Boys Choir by Curtis M. Lawson. I saw this book on Well Read Beard's channel, and I was intrigued. It's about this young boy whose father has this song that was unfinished, and he starts to study the song and becomes obsessed, and then people start dying maybe. I don't know. I was just intrigued by what he said about it, so we're gonna check it out. I swear, we're gonna get this together. I forgot one more in the horror category. This is a vintage YA horror by R.L. Stine. It's called The Knife. I have talked about this in a previous video, but I actually found out about this book. It was at the end. They had a little blurb about it at the end of Silent Night, and I was just intrigued. I haven't heard anybody talk about it, so if anyone's read it, let me know in the comments below. Basically, it's about this young lady named Lori who works at this hospital, and there are some strange things that aren't supposed to be going on at the hospital. And then they find out that she knows that they know, and then they try to get her, and you know, of course, I think some people die or they try to kill her. Anyway, I'm intrigued, so I gotta get my hands on it soon. My library only has one copy that they keep at the library, like you can only read it there. So there is a copy I'm looking to buy with a different cover. So when I can get my hands on that, I will be reading it, hopefully before the end of this year. Now we're gonna move on to the one sci-fi book that I have at the top of my TBR list. I thought I had more, but it's just one. This one is The Atrocity Archives by Charles Stross. I saw this one on Rachel from the Shades of Orange's YouTube channel, and you know, she reads sci-fi, so I love getting recommendations from her. This one is about a man named Bob who is a techie at this secret government agency, and he starts digging around and he gets what they call noticed, which means, you know, now he's being watched and followed, and he gets involved in all kinds of things. So I like my sci-fi to include horror or mystery or suspense, thriller, those kind of things. So of course this one intrigued me. And like I said, because I had it on my list since last year, it is at the top. So hopefully I get to it soon. And now we will move on to the thrillers. First up in the thriller category, we have Survive the Night by Riley Sager. I loved Lock Every Door. I've talked about this many times. If you heard this, I'm sorry, but it was the first book I read when I came out of my 9-10 plus year reading slump, and thank goodness, because it made me keep going. If the first one wasn't good, I wouldn't be here. We wouldn't have this booktube channel. I don't know, it may have happened later, but who knows? Anyway, I also read Home Before Dark. Wasn't as crazy about that, but I still will say I love me some Riley Sager. So this one hasn't even come out yet. It's June or July. Don't fully remember. But either way, I can't wait. It's about a young lady who's in college. She catches a ride from someone who posts on the ride sharing bulletin board at her school. This takes place back in the 80s. So, you know, with bulletin boards and pay phones, no cell phones and all that stuff. I know about that time. But anyway, so she catches a ride with this young man, and she thinks he's a little strange. He won't let her look in the trunk, and you know, what's up with that? And then there's a serial killer on the loose, but she starts to suspect she's riding with the serial killer. So cannot wait. I will be buying it as soon as it comes out. Yes. Moving on to another one that was on my 2021 anticipated thriller releases video. This one is My Sweet Girl by Amanda Jayatissa. I hope I'm saying the name right. I'm probably not. I'm so sorry. But this is one that I am excited about. It was like, out of all the books I listed, it was at the top, like top 3 that I was looking forward to. This is about a young lady who's from Sri Lanka. She moves to San Francisco, and she sublets the second bedroom of her apartment to this man. And she has some secrets. He discovers one of her secrets, and I think he's gonna try to blackmail her or something. And then Basically, she ends up finding him dead, and then she goes to get help or something, but when she comes back, his body is gone, honey. Yeah, so again, I'm here for it. It just sounds wild. So I cannot wait. That one does not come out till September, so I got a little ways to go, but trust me, it will be read in September. Let's move on. Okay, now we have Five Total Strangers by Natalie D. Richards. This is one that I wanted to get to last winter. I did not get a chance because it takes place during the snow, blizzard, wintertime, as already said. This is about a young lady who is trying to get home for some family matters. She catches a ride with some college kids who were all gonna book a flight, but then I don't know what happens, they decide to drive. And there are some secrets, and somebody may not make it out the car, or I don't know, but I'm always here for these kind of books, so I'm gonna read it before the winter time, because again, I wanna know if I should recommend it for the winter. So I think it is at the top of my list for the library site or something like that. I don't know, but I'm gonna read it soon because I cannot wait. Next up, this is one of the first books I heard about on BookTube. This is a closed circle mystery. I've just learned what that means, and it will probably be the first one I read if I get to it soon, hopefully. It is called Death by Dumpling by Vivien Chien. And it's about this young lady who goes to work at her family's restaurant, and the property manager of the restaurant ends up dying after he receives a delivery of shrimp, and everybody knows that he has a shellfish allergy. So it's like, who did it? Who is the killer? And I want to know. So again, this is another one that has been on my list almost since I got on BookTube and got into the book community. So I will definitely be reading it soon. Stay tuned for that. Another one that is winter themed with murder and mayhem is 13 Stories by Jonathan Sims. This is another one I wanted to get to last year and did not. So I'm going to get to it before winter. But this is another one I believe would be considered closed circle mystery. It's a bunch of people get invited to this billionaire's house, and they don't know why they're all there, but they all have something in common, kind of like Clue. And I believe some people die, and you know, we got the mystery of why they're there, who's the killer, all of that. I love it. So again, I know I'm going to be getting to it soon. I am going to have to get it on my Kindle because they don't have it in my library. But we're going to get to it soon. Now, I have a few books on my TBR list from this author. I already read one in the winter time of last year, December, and that was The Turn of the Key. So the author I'm speaking of is none other than Ruth Ware. And the next one on my list is also winter themed. Clearly, I have a lot of winter themed thriller books that I want to get to. Some horror ones I already spoke about too, but this one is One by One. Another, I believe, closed circle mystery. There are a bunch of people. They get snowed in as far as I know. There's murder, suspects, all that good stuff. Who done it? So I'm looking forward to it. Of course, I'm looking forward to all these. Moving on. Next, we have Do No Harm by Christina McDonald. This was also on my 2021 anticipated thriller books video. This one just came out in February, but I am on the list from my library site. It is a long list, but I should be getting it soon. People have said it's like Breaking Bad. It's about this woman whose child is sick and she can't afford the treatments for her, so she starts selling drugs, and there's a bunch of stuff that happens with that. Again, I gave a detailed synopsis in my previous video, so you can check that out, but I was intrigued. As a mom, just all of it. I can't. Not even gonna say it again. You already know I can't wait. Moving on. And last but not least, the other book on my list by Ruth Ware is In a Dark, Dark Wood. Again, I have a lot of books on my TBR by Ruth Ware, but this one crept its way up to the top because I just kept hearing good things about it. This one has me intrigued. It's about this young lady who gets invited to the English countryside for a weekend among friends, but some deep, dark secrets come out, and the synopsis says they may not be alone in the woods after all. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm gonna say it one more time. That's it. I'm looking forward to all the books. So there we have it. I gave you 21 books that I'm looking forward to reading in 2021, top of my TBR. Again, I have like probably over 400 books that I need to comb through and see if I'm adding to my TBR. Some of them I know I am. Again, there's just so many books, so little time, but it's a good problem to have. But again, this is not everything, but these are just, like I said, the ones I want to get to sooner rather than later. Yeah, so, you can feel free to let me know any books that you're really looking forward to reading in the next month or two. So yeah, I think that's about it. Don't forget to subscribe and give me a like. Help me get to that 3,000 mark. Leave a comment down below. Like I said, let me know what you're most looking forward to reading in the next month or two. And yeah, that is it. So until my next video, snuggle up in your hideaway with a good book, unplug as much as possible, be kind to all kind, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.